Very polite audience members, which means actually watching the speech, paying attention to it, and not reading emails.
Yes, woo! Thanks, everybody. Okay, you ready? Everyone else ready? Good. Service Cross, Medal of Honor, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Prisoner of War Medal, American Campaign Medal, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Award awarded by the Korean President, World War II Victory Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Korean Service Medal with 2 Bronze Stars, Combat Infantry Badge Award, Republic of Korea Presidential Unit Citation Award, United Nations Korea Medal, Republic of Korea Service Medal. What I just listed are the immense achievements of a United States Army military chaplain who died as a prisoner of war during the Korean War, Father Emil Kapan. Emil Kapan was a man who gave people hope, who saved people's lives during the Korean War. Father Kapan had to make split-second decisions in the blink of an eye, which put himself at harm, put others at harm. However, these actions and these decisions he made saved people's lives. They established him as a war hero who will never be forgotten, earning the Medal of Honor, the Bronze Star Medal, and these are 2 of the most highly prestigious military awards one can earn. And he earned these by making these moral decisions in crunch time. The Korean War was some of the darkest time in the second half of the 20th century. Millions of people lost their lives in 3 short years of war. And when the fighting stopped in 1953, American soldiers emerged from the darkness of a prisoner of war camp. And these men who survived dedicated and attributed their success and their hope and their lives to one man who gave them hope, and that was Father Emil Kapan. Father Kapan was born in Kansas, raised there, and joined the military shortly before World War II. He was deployed for the Korean War and ended up dying in a prisoner of war, as I said earlier. And there's not one specific action in particular which Father Kapan displayed this moral decision that saved these people's lives, but it was an accumulation of many different decisions, series of decisions that saved people's lives and put himself second and put his life at risk. The first one I want to talk about is on 2 August 1950, the actions that Father Kapan carried out earned him the Bronze Star Medal. So he receives information there's a wounded man in front of him, the Korean forces are approaching, and he is a priest in this time. He's a chaplain. So he's not given a weapon, he has no assault rifle, no handgun, no knife. And he's essentially behind a protection line of U.S. Army soldiers. He's given a direct order, do not go forward. If you go forward, you're going to put not only yourself in danger, but potentially our other men. Because if you're injured, we have to go save you. You're our only chaplain right now. If you're injured, there's no one that's going to be console these men and comfort them. So please do not go forward. He ignored these orders and went forward. He got the approximate location of the downed soldier, and the entire route to this man that he walked was under intense enemy fire. Over 800 meters until he found the man, said a prayer before he picked him up, grabbed him by his collar, and drug him over 800 meters back to safety. When he got back, of course, he was reamed by the commander and said, "Why would you disobey a direct order?" He said, "I had to. It was someone else's life. I had to put my life second. If I died out there, I died knowing that I did my best." So this action right here, disobeying a direct order, it's so easy to follow direct orders, to say yes and do what you're told, but by not following it, he saved someone's life and gave people hope and said, wow, this guy has something more to live for. The second point happened just a month after, 1 to 2 November, a series of actions, and these are the actions that led him to receive the Medal of Honor. And similar situation, the Korean forces are penetrating United States forces, and they're outnumbered. The United States is outnumbered, and he's again giving specific instructions, do not intervene, please do not go forward. You will put our men in jeopardy, you will put your life in jeopardy, and we can't afford that. He completely disregarded this command and went forward. Not only did he go around to men and start consoling them and praying for them, he started giving medical treatment, which he was not even qualified to do, but he knew someone had to do it. And Father Kapan went as far as began to rescue people who were wounded behind the no man's land. And what I got from my resources, I gathered no man's land is a line that no soldier is allowed to cross unless specifically directed to do so. And the men that were beyond this no man's land were trying to make an effort to get in penetrate Korean forces. However, they were down and they were injured and they were wounded, and there was no one there to be able to save them. Father Capon saved upward of 6 men. There's not an exact number because some of these men died later on in battle and they could not document it, but upwards of 6 lives he saved by putting himself second and not obeying commands, but doing what he thought was right, his moral decision to go forward. He showed unparalleled courage and leadership and inspired all those that were present that there was something else to live for. Now after this, obviously, like I said, the Korean forces outnumbered the United States, and somehow the Americans successfully repelled the assault. But it was only a matter of time before they were going to be kidnapped and captured. And all of the able-bodied men were directed to evacuate, not to stay back. And this was a direct order to Father Capon. It wasn't a suggestion, it wasn't looking out for his best interest, it was a direct order. However, Father Capon ignored that order and stayed behind and said, the only way I'm going to leave is if I'm dead, and it's going to be in a casket. He stayed back and stayed with his men. The following morning, obviously, they were surrounded by Korean forces, and enemy troops surrounded them and took them to prisoner of war camp. Before doing so, they had a Sergeant First Class, Herbert Miller, who was badly injured, had a shattered right leg. His leg was completely bloodied and irreparable. They were going to execute this man, and they were forcing all the American soldiers to watch as they executed this American soldier. Father Capon stands up and pushes a Korean soldier to the ground and says, the only way you're going to kill him is if you kill me as well. Everyone was so astonished and taken back that someone actually had stepped up to these forces when they had a gun to his head, that they actually let him live. And for 40 miles, Father Capon carried Sergeant Miller all the way to the prisoner of war camp. Right there is the second action that I would say, that he disregarded the direct orders given to him, the moral decision to do what he thought was best. We'll establish him as a hero. And the point 3 was just his figure of hope at the camp, the prisoner of war camp. He would lead the men in rebellious acts. He'd give them hope. He'd lead prayer. He'd lead services, even though directly told not to do so. And specifically on Easter Sunday, one of the years in the prisoner of war camp, he led such an inspiring service, the entire prisoner of war camp erupted in songs of praise. And this infuriated the communist soldiers, and they punished him, making him stand outside without any clothes on and get beaten. This led to him becoming sick and catching pneumonia. And this was the chance for the communist soldiers to get rid of the hope that these American soldiers were holding on to. So what they did is they took him to what they called a death house, essentially a shed where he was going to be ignored, given no medical treatment and no assistance, and he would eventually die. And as he's getting carried away to this death house, Father Capon, his men are begging these soldiers, please do not take our men. They're trying to fight these Korean soldiers. Please, this is our only hope. And Father Capon stops them and says, please, soldiers, do not worry about me. I'm going where I've wanted to go all my life. You, I will continue to be there for you. I'll pray for you. I will always be with you in spirit. And the last action documented from Father Capon is blessing the soldiers who were taken to his death and said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they are doing. So Father Emile Capon is the most highly decorated chaplain in U.S. military history. When he finally received his Medal of Honor in 2013, 9 of the men he helped survive and rescue were at that ceremony, including Sergeant First Class Herbert Miller. Now, there's no doubt there's stories just like Father Capon who are buried in the Earth's history that we'll never learn about, who gave their ultimate sacrifice and laid down their lives in the course of war. But when history is over, evil, death, darkness does not get the final word. It's stories like Father Capon's who make these moral decisions to save multiple people's lives and put other people first. They're going to last forever.